Okay, so I've got these walls and floors starting to come together. Before I do anything with the stairs, I just can't help myself. I'm going to fix this wall that needs to come down to the level below. And it's a bit of a two-step process. When you have a wall like this that you want only on one level, it's a really good idea to set the top constraint to the level you want it to go to, or level you want it to go to, even if you're going to attach it to the floor to set the height. So you'll see now that I've got this wall poking through the floor a little bit, but it knows at least where it stops in terms of the levels. Then I'll still go attach top base and choose the floor, and that'll take it down. It'll give you the message about mullions, and it's fine to hit delete elements, and then it will stop there. And so then I can go to level 1 and add in a new curtain wall that belongs to this level. So I'll save it, and this wall I can simply trace over the wall on the level below, but I'll set the top constraint before I do that to roof. And now coming down, another thing to watch out for with curtain walls is the side that the glass goes to. So remember, using space, you can flip the wall as you're drawing it, so you don't always have to draw clockwise. So I'll still join it to this wall, even though we know that wall is going to go eventually when we put the balcony in. So this wall that comes out at an angle, that is going to be the balcony in the end, and I think the curtain wall will come back behind it. But I'll leave it like that for now, because I want to go ahead and do the stairs, just to really cover stairs generally. And well, you can see here I've got some issues with the way I did the walls anyway. So I might just refer to the photos and see if I can find that area where the stairs are. Okay, so you can see here the stairs, part of them, and there's a better photo of them. Have we got any more? I think that's about it. No, here's a good one. Is that the same stair? Yes. Okay, it's a bit all over the shop with the railings. Okay, so they've... Oh, what's going on there? So they've taken photos at different stages, have they? Okay, so that looks like the same space, or have we got two sets of stairs? I think that is the same space. Okay, so you've got a wall that runs around those stairs, and also the columns are going to have an effect on it as well. And if you haven't thought about putting in your columns yet, it's not a bad time to do that. So again, just referring back to the photos, see if you can pick up anything that shows the columns on the outside of the building. And you can see that they should be to one side of the curtain walls or intersecting with it. That could be better, these photos. So, okay, we're not going to have much luck, I think, getting a better image of the columns in this one. Okay, looks fairly clear there. You can see the column outside the line of the curtain wall, so that can give you some pointers about where that, how that curtain wall's set back. And so, yeah, so this wall will come back eventually behind that column, and so then I'll put the column in while I'm at it using the structural columns. So that's a really important thing. When you're making columns, you have to decide whether you want to use structural columns or architectural columns, and here structural columns are the ones you should be using. I'll use load family and then into structural columns, not columns. That's a common mistake. And then the concrete folder has the round columns. edit type, duplicate, and I can give a new name, 400 mil. Change the size. And I'll just put a couple of columns in and show you what often happens. When you place columns initially, they might be invisible. That's because of the option they have by default in the template, setting it to depth instead of height. So watch out for that.
Oh yeah, we had that problem last time.
Yeah.
Going down to minus.
Exactly, yeah. It's silly, but once you change it the first time, then it'll stay like that. So I'll delete this column that's gone down into the ground, and then back in my floor plan, back to structural column, it's set to height, and I'll put that to level 1, and then, yep, that's okay, and then I can choose the drawing there just to snap roughly. And I'm only putting the columns in to do the walls. So now I'll go and just do some generic walls. Generic 100 mil. Over the AutoCAD drawing again. I'll use pick lines here just to pick the AutoCAD. And finish face exterior or interior here. Okay, so hopefully you won't have too much trouble with those things. And then you can see this stair outline from the AutoCAD file as well. So, when you go to make stairs, you've got a couple of different options. Stair by component and stair by sketch. If you have a look on the YouTube site, on my channel, you'll see a stack of videos about stairs that will give you different examples showing you how to use both of these options. And I don't know, have you tried either of them? If you've been making your stairs, do you remember which one you've been using?
The one that you showed us last week, I think it was this one.
Stair by sketch?
I think so.
Yeah, that's fine. That's normally what I'd show first, and it's probably the best option most of the time. Stair by component's still useful, and it has lots of good options, particularly for things like spiral stairs and U-shaped stairs. Those preset forms are really good. But when you need to use a stair by sketch, you've got a sketch option here as well, but I found it just makes it sometimes more fiddly. So instead I'll cancel that and go back to stair by sketch. And this stair I know you can make fairly easily just by picking things off the AutoCAD drawing. So with stair by sketch you have 3 options. You can either draw by run, which is drawing a flight of stairs, or you can do the boundaries and the rises separately. But I'm going to go by run, so I'll leave it on that. The other thing to think about before you even start making your stairs is the height, which you set using levels. So it goes from floor to floor, in this case from ground floor to level 1. That will give a riser count. Now, let's go back to the photos and see where this stair comes out. So it before. There we are. Okay, so you can see the stair comes out basically above the where it starts. Also in the section here I can check the riser count. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 risers is what you should have. And so then before you draw the stair you can set the desired number of risers in properties to 19. And then using the measure tool I'll simply measure the width of this stair the way it's been drawn in AutoCAD, and it's 1300, so I'll go with that. And again, you can put that in properties before you draw your stair. And so that's a big part of the process when you draw stairs, to get the properties set up first. Again, using run, leaving it on straight, I can now snap to the midpoint of this first step, taking it across. I'll then snap to the midpoint of the last step in that flight. And you can see the treads don't line up, so I'll measure one of those as well. 299.6, so thanks Araj. No, he did a really good job, but he's just drawn that a bit out. So the actual tread depth there in properties I will set to 300 as well. And then I'll have a go at using run again and snap to the midpoint on the first step to begin it. Coming over to the right, the midpoint on the last step. And now you can see it's not giving me a midpoint snap automatically. So I'll try SN to snap to midpoint. And it's got the midpoint of something else. So I'll come back and use the reference plane to work that out. So with reference plane on the modify panel there, I can draw from the midpoint of any of these other lines. And that can be really helpful when you're making stairs, to just draw some reference planes in to help you work out your main lines you need to draw. Using run, I can then go to the intersection of that reference plane and my previous stair. Over to the left now, and I'll just take that beyond the total number of rises. Okay, so then looking back at the image there. Yep, so you can see that you have a go to the other photo. Okay, so the back of the stair's curved, or the back of that landing's curved, but the front isn't. So I can leave that, but this back edge I'll delete. And you can draw those green lines using boundary. Pick lines is something you'll always have as an option, and I can pick the edge there and then just trim to close that off. So there we go, that's the stair done. The existing stair is going to be that easy. If you've got to design your own stair and do something more interesting, then there's going to be some more work involved, but that'll be good enough for an existing stair. So I'll tick to finish. And now let's look at it in my section. I'll bring that section line down, open it up, and I've got a timber frame stair. So I don't know if you remember using the library to get stairs and railings. Yep, so if you remember that trick, use open on the main menu, browse to the metric library using the shortcuts on the left, and you'll find them in sample files, and there you'll see the stairs folder. Do you remember the other trick with 2014? This is a really tricky one. Stairs in 2014 are different to stairs in previous versions. So stair by component, that tool I showed you earlier, will give you these new stairs, which are assembled stairs, which actually do a lot more than the previous stair tool that I'm showing you now. Stair by sketch, the one I've been using, uses the older kind of stairs, and so to get to those, use the library that I've put on the P drive for you in the interior design folder, where you have Revit library, and then sample files. It looks the same. Here we are, stairs, you'll find there. So it's just a technical thing. These stairs are made using stair by sketch, which means I can bring them into this file and replace my stair. So there's a concrete stair. I'm going to choose it, copy to clipboard, And this works for anything. If you want to move something from one view to another, this method works as well. So once I do copy to clipboard, then you can see paste comes up. Do you know how to switch windows within a program? That's right, tab pretty much with control. So control tab. Yep, and that's a really good one. So yeah, alt tab switches programs, and control tab switches within a program. So I'm in my file that I want to have my new stair brought into. I'm just going to switch to a plan view and then paste on the modify tab. So paste. Don't worry about messages like this that tell you about duplicate types, just hit OK. And you just have to place your stair somewhere. I know it seems like a strange method. Don't worry about any messages you get, because you can then delete it. Notice in properties it's telling me the name concrete stair. So I'll delete that, choose my previous stair that I made. That's my cursor wakes up, there we go. Choose that previous stair, and then in that panel in properties I can set it to concrete stair. There we are. In plan it looks the same, but in section it'll look a bit different because it'll have the extra riser added. That's just the way concrete stairs are made, and there are ways of tidying that up if you really want to, but what I'd recommend is you just have a section that goes through a different area for now. So I'm going to bring my section line just down a little bit more in the plan, look at it in the section, and there we are. You can see that is a bit neater. And so then the final thing there is the railing, and luckily for you the railing that comes in your file, when you select the railing you've already made, it's going to be this awful straight picket type railing. You can go to the 900mm pipe in properties, and that's pretty close to the railing they have in the actual building. There we are. Okay, so looking at it in 3D, stairs there, the walls are coming through the floor just like the others. We'll fix those shortly, but it's good to see that so you can then get an idea where things will need to change to accommodate this stair. And the most important thing, apart from the stair and the walls changing, is, what do you think, if you've got a stair coming through like this? Exactly, putting a hole in the floor or void, and I'll simply select that floor, choose edit boundary. Now I can see the outline. Back in the plan view, it's a lot clearer. Let's look at the photos, and you can see pretty clearly what's happening with the void above. It goes the way these often do, over the whole stair pretty much. So you can see there, that's the line of the void above, which makes it a lot easier for you to work out. Right, that's the line. So with pick lines, you can pick that edge. That's the top of the stair. I'll just pick the outside of the handrail for now. Oops, wrong side. And then with trim, join those together. So that's my void shape. Tick to finish. No, I don't. Oh yes, actually I'm going to say yes this time. I'm happy to have these walls all attached to the floor. So yes, that'll make my life a bit easier. Back in 3D, starting to look a bit better. Now, if you've ever had to build a stair like this in real life, you'd know that often that last step is done as part of the floor. So I'll show you, there's a trick there. You can use the number of rises and adjust that, but I'll leave it like this for now so you can just get on and get that stair built. But I'll show you at least how to get the wall. So this wall that comes through the floor, the landing there, I'm going to select it and then use Edit Profile. So with Edit Profile, you can pick edges in 3D. It's just that it's a bit difficult to see the edges. I can see them actually, but I'll make it easier using wireframe. I'm going to go to pick lines and pick the bottom of that floor, or the landing, and the two sides of my stair. So I know I'm going pretty quickly here, but you'll be able to see all of this in the video. So I'll just use split to break that edge at the top, trim, and that'll join those lines together. So I've just taken a hole out, and well, actually I'm not even thinking clearly. I've put the edge there on the side of the first flight when I actually needed to go and pick the second flight. So I'll use a line and pick the outer edge of that second flight of stairs, and then choose my line, and it will bring it over automatically. And there's that U-shaped cut out in my wall. Tick to finish, back to shaded. Okay, so that's looking reasonable.